friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Automation Testing Online. Today's video we are going to discuss about autocomplete. What is autocomplete? I'll show an example. So for example, if I'm giving here a letter A, you can see a number of options. So in e-commerce website like Flipkart, Amazon, if you want to search any products, if you give only one letter, the remaining words will be displayed. For example, in Google page, if I'm typing here B, you can see here the number of words starting with B are displayed here. So this is called as autocomplete. Now I wanted to print all these words. Let's see how to do that. First thing is, the first two steps I'm copying it from the previous examples because it is same for every program. So I'm just copying and pasting it. Instead of alert, I have to give here autocomplete. The next step is, as usual, we have to inspect the text box. So here they have given ID as tags1, copy it, w dot find element by dot ID is tags1 and dot send keys. I wanted to send a letter which is A. And next step is just click on inspect on any of the options. So you can see here that this word action script is inside a div tag. The tag starts here and ends here. Similarly, all the words are inside the div tag, and div tag is inside li tag. Let's close these tags and we'll be able to see all these li tags are inside ul tag. Ul tag starts here and it ends here. So here we can use tag name to retrieve all the words. For UL tag, we can see that it has an ID. Copy it, and here we have to give wd dot find element by dot ID. Paste the ID here. This will be returned as a web element. Let's give the name as UL tag. Equal to web element has to be imported. Now inside UL tag we have all these li tags. How do we retrieve that? So UL tag dot find elements. As I said earlier, find element we can use to find a single element, and find elements is used to find number of elements. So select find elements and by dot tag name. So what is our tag name here? It is li tag. Find element is returned as a list of web elements, so we have to store it inside list of web elements. So list web element, I'm giving the name as li tag equal to list has to be imported. Now we can use the for loop as usual to retrieve all the data. Integer I equal to 0, I less than li tag dot size I plus plus. li tag dot get of I dot get text. This will be returned as a string. So let's store inside string datas, and I wanted to print the datas. Let's look for the output. Let's look whether these words have been printed. Yes, we were able to see that all these words are printed. Now we'll discuss about checkbox and radio button. What is a checkbox? Checkbox usually looks like this. We can select multiple checkboxes. And in checkboxes, we have to make sure that whether these boxes are enabled and these words are visible, whether any of the checkbox has already been selected. All these things we have to ensure. For that, I will write a program www.get string URL. I'm copy pasting this URL. Now www.find element by dot. Let's inspect any of the element. I wanted to select flask. So the name, we can see ID and name. We will go with name by dot name. I will store this inside a web element. Web element flask. Next, I want to ensure that whether it is enabled, whether the checkbox is enabled or not. So I'm giving an if condition. If flask dot is enabled, then I wanted to print it is enabled. I'm giving an exclamation mark here, which means that this flask is not selected. If it is not selected, I wanted to print it. It is not selected, and then I wanted it to be selected. So I'm giving flask dot click. After it has been selected, I wanted to print. So let's run the program and see the output. Flask is selected. So we got the message as it is enabled, it is displayed, and first time it was not selected, then I made it to be selected, then the message it is selected was printed. Now we'll discuss about radio buttons. Radio buttons look similar to checkbox, but the difference is in radio button only a single option can be selected. Now I'm inspecting. We can see that all the three options are grouped with the same name, which is technology 2. So how do we select a particular option? You see that the value differs for each option, which is Django, Selenium, and Flask. First, I'll show how to retrieve all the values. Next, I'll show how to select a particular value. So here's an example. The first three steps I have already given. Next I have given wd.get the URL. Now I have to give wd.findElements. Here I'm selecting find elements because we are going to find the element using a for loop. So we can see that we have multiple options here, multiple words. So we have to give find elements. By dot name. Just copying it and paste it here. This find elements are returning as a list of web elements, so I'm storing them inside a list of web element. Let's give the name as options. Now I'm using a for loop for integer I equal to 0, I less than options dot size I plus plus. Options dot get of I dot get attribute. So what is the attribute we have here is value. Just copy it, paste it here, and I want to print. So I'm giving this inside sysout. So let's run the program and look for the output. So successfully we have printed all the three options. So how does it work? Here I have given integer I is equal to 0. So if I is less than options dot size, inside options we have the number of elements. So we have 3 elements. So option size is 3, 0 less than 3. The condition is satisfied. It comes to the next line. Options dot get of I. Now i's value is 0. Option dot get of 0 dot get attribute. In 0th index we have Django. So Django is printed. Similarly for the remaining 2 options. So this is how for loop works here. Now I'll show how to print how to select a particular option. So I'm giving an if condition which says that if options dot get of I dot get attribute, which is value, dot equals. Let's say I wanted to select flask. So I'm giving the word flask. And then if it is equal to flask, if options dot get of 0th index, in 0th index I'm having Django. So if Django is equal to flask, then I wanted to print options dot get of I dot click. So what happens here is options dot get of I 0th index get of 0th index dot get attribute of value. 0th index we have Django, the value is Django. If that value Django is equal to flask, options dot get of 0th index dot click. But in 0th index we don't have the word flask, we have Django. We have the word flask in the 2nd index. So when the values incremented, I turns into 2. So in second index, when get attribute value is equal to Flask, that option will be selected and the same option will be printed. Let's save the program and we'll see the output. You see Flask is selected, and yes, successfully the option Flask is also printed. So friends, by this we have come to the end of the video. In my next video, we will meet up with a new topic. Thank you.